It's 5 o'clock. We'll call Sawyer County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Ask clerk to call roll, please.
Steve Carrianen.
Here.
Kay Wilson. Here. Steve Longtine.
Here.
Stacy Hessel. Here. Randy Newman.
Here.
Mark Helwig is excused. Jim Miller. Here. Marshall Savitsky.
Here.
Jim Evans.
Here.
Chuck Van Etten. Here. Jeff Haney. Here. John Righeimer. Here. Ron Kinsley.
Sure.
Ron Buckholz.
Present.
John Minto. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item is pledge allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Number 5, certification compliance open meeting laws.
This meeting was noticed to the media and public as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Number 6 is the meeting agenda. The agenda is set. Number 7, public comment. Anybody who can speak to the board, ask you to keep it to 3 minutes. Ms. Zilmer.
Linda Zilmer, Edgewater property owner, and I want to follow up with the comments I've made at committee meetings and at the open house for the all hazard mitigation plan for Sawyer County. I have asked the committees to, in their August meetings, to take a look at the hazard mitigation plan and look at the other plans that kind of direct what the committees what their departments are working on. And I think there's a lot of value. It's not in just having a plan, but it's working the plan and developing it so that you start understanding the relationships. And there are good tools also when you have turnover in town boards, county boards, or even county administrators. Those plans should be a carryover of information in coordination with other entities, including the towns. My concern is that I don't know that talking to the towns down in the Edgewater area of the county, towns do not find where they were ever notified about the hazard mitigation plan. And I'm going to give credit to Sheldon Johnson because he got me hooked on planning in 2004 with the Edgewater Comprehensive Plan. And then I realized how many plans there are and why they're important. And I learned a lot then, and I continue to learn a lot now. And it's interesting, I also go back and I look and check my memory against the Sawyer County record. Back in 2014, when Sawyer County was having their update to their hazard mitigation plan, and Jason Lauman conducted that open house, all the towns participated except for the city of Hayward. What I learned at the open house is that now this plan, only the city of Hayward participated and none of the towns, which suggests to me maybe the towns were not notified. And I understand that hazard mitigation planning opens up funding opportunities to do activities to mitigate or to do things to prepare for a hazard. And I know from attending Washburn County's Emergency Management and Law Enforcement Committee last meeting, that even the little village of Birchwood, population 400 something, they have a potential project that will be included in the plan. And unless they're included in the Washburn County plan, they won't be eligible for funding. So I think maybe the open house lasted all of 5 or 10 minutes of a 30-minute meeting the other day. And if there's any way to allow the county and the towns to weigh in August, so you make sure that this plan is in shape and doesn't cut anybody out of funding, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody else online? Is anybody? Thank you. Number 8, consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Evans, second by Mr. Newman to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. At this time, we welcome Mr. Sheldon Johnson from Northwest Regional Planning and his staff. Mr. Johnson.
Good afternoon, everybody, or evening almost. Sheldon Johnson, the Executive Director at Northwest Regional Planning Commission. We have 2 other staff with us. We have 15 staff total, but 2 of them are here today. Jason Lauman, he's our Deputy Director, and Megan Sorensen, our Water Quality Resource Specialist and Community Development Planner. So they'll speak a little bit on the planning side after I finish a few remarks, and I'll come back and wrap up the presentation with some other components. So wanted to give you a little bit of an update on who Northwest Regional Planning Commission is, what we do, what our functions are. I know many of you on the county board, I and our staff have interacted with you on a number of different topics and issues and planning projects and committees. But we're much bigger and broader than that. Early this year, 2026, we started with a strategic assessment of our organization. Last year, in my discussions with our executive committee, we felt it was a good value to look at what our projects are, what our future is for the organization. So we conducted a strategic assessment. As part of that, we did surveys of county administrators, community development or economic development directors across our 10-county region, and a whole lot of other folks. And then we did that, and then we conducted 3 one-on-one interviews, or we did 10 one-on-one interviews, and then 3 focus group meetings. And out of all of that conversation, it was really good value for the organization. But what came out of that is that we need to share more information about what we do, who we are, with our units of governments, our county boards, and others. So this is our first of 10 meetings that we're going to be trying to do this calendar year yet. So bear with us. You're the first to get this spiel. I don't want to call it a spiel, but this great information for you. So we're going to move along and do this hopefully in 20 minutes. We're hopefully not going to take that long. We could talk to you an hour. Trying to remember if Stacy was at that meeting, or, oh boy, 8 years ago maybe. We had an economic development committee meeting where they wanted to know what we do and what we did. We met at the library and we were there for an hour and a half. So I promise not to take that long. Okay, so Northwest Regional Planning Commission, we're one of 10 counties, or we're 10 counties that we cover in the region. There are 9 regional planning commissions statewide. We're created by statute. So Wisconsin statute created the opportunity to be a regional planning commission. You, Sawyer County, are a member, one of 10 members of the planning commission. So you're a member of the planning commission by being a member, by paying a member contribution, a levy contribution is what we call it, that all of our counties provide to the Regional Planning Commission. We have about a $3.1 million budget. We have 15 staff. And out of the county contributions that we receive for the Planning Commission, about $211,830 is generated from our member counties. The units of governments don't pay a membership dues. You pay that on their behalf. Because you're a member, we can work in and around the county and all the members, towns and villages and the city here in the county. So we can help provide them services that way. If you're not a member, we can't provide our services to those units of governments. So that's the advantage of you being the member. You're paying basically that statutory requirement of being a member through equalized value. So you are the highest paying county of our 10 counties, and it's based on state statute saying that the equalized value of all of the county members is proportionally shared out that way. Because you have the highest equalized value in the county, you have the highest contribution to the Regional Planning Commission. And before someone asks me what that is, the member levy for 2027 is $35,591. The lowest member county is Iron at $9,466. So they kind of spread out in between to encapsulate that $211,830. Your contribution as a member of the Planning Commission helps cover most, if not all, of our match requirements that we have for the programs that we apply for and that we receive state and federal grants for. So that's where we utilize that $211,000 out of that $3.1 million. Almost all of our projects that we work on are state, federal, and local grant programs that we're working specifically for units of governments to do the work for them using our professional staff. So that's just a really high level of the organization for that. What we're going to do is we're going to go through some information that you have in your packet there. Most of it's on screen that we'll go through, but I wanted to just kind of cover a few of the things that you'll find in the packet. So we just recently completed our 2025 annual report. I'm not going to go over that. That's just for your reading enjoyment later, at some later time. And then there's some handouts that we'll cover as we go along in the presentation. I know Megan's got a piece in there as well for that. So, all right, we're gonna roll into it. So we have, if you look at the screen, I apologize, I don't have the presentation for you, and maybe you have it on your screen in front of you on your laptop, but our organization is made up of really 4 functional groups that do all of our planning work and other services that we provide to the region. They are planning, GIS, community development, water resources, and future slides will show the staff that work on those. Jason and Megan primarily work in the planning, community development, and water resources, so they're here to talk about that specifically. Then we have a very large economic development function within the region. We got a couple staff that work on that. We provide housing assistance funding within the region. There's an environmental component, and then our just normal fiscal, internal, IT, et cetera, that's covered under that. So we have really 4 pillars, and that's what we're gonna talk about today. So for the planning, GIS, and community development and water resources, I'm gonna step back and let Jason and Megan kind of talk about that component, some of the things that we work on, that we do within Sawyer County specifically, and then maybe also some of the things that we work on outside of Sawyer County that might be of interest to you and your constituents that you represent here in the county.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Jason Lallman, as Sheldon mentioned, the Deputy Director of the Regional Planning Commission, and I'm just going to give you the quick and dirty overview of our Community Development Planning and GIS Department. So the planning side obviously is our bread and butter. That's part of it's actually written into the enabling legislation that created an RPC. Planning is one of the services that we have to provide. And we do that predominantly by developing land use, comprehensive plans, hazard mitigation plans, farmland preservation plans, and then what I would characterize as specialty plans. And I'm going to talk about one of those once I get through the list here. Our GIS side, we have a 1-person GIS staff, but all of us are versed in GIS technology. We use it routinely throughout our daily work. In that capacity, basically we're creating data to support our planning projects and support the other work of the organization. We also use it for analytics. We're involved in a large-scale project right now with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration up on the South Shore, doing detailed analytics in watersheds, looking at runoff and flood vulnerability and ways to reduce that risk. So that kind of hits on the first 2 pieces. The water resource side, I guess, Megan, we'll wait until I'm done with this and then we'll get you to come up there and talk on it. But there are a couple of projects that we're working on the planning side that relate directly to Sawyer County right now. As Linda mentioned earlier, working on a hazard mitigation plan. This plan actually ended up falling during a really tough time period because the requirements and rules were different when we started the project than when we ended the project. And the reason for that was FEMA, as you're probably aware, basically shut down their grants program, shut down the BRIC program midstream. And we were able to get some supplemental funding through Wisconsin Emergency Management to pick it up and continue on trying to finish that project. But some of the rules and requirements did change during that time period. Also in the comprehensive planning realm, we did the update for Sawyer County on your comprehensive plan, completed that back in 2021. Same thing with the City of Hayward, did a comprehensive plan update that was also completed in 2021. Town of Hunter was completed in 2023. Again, another comprehensive plan. Spider Lake completed in 2025. We've been contacted by the town of Round Lake to do an update to their comprehensive plan and provide some leadership assistance with a survey that they're deploying through University of Wisconsin Extension. The project I had mentioned earlier that will potentially dovetail really nicely with Sawyer County is a bike and pedestrian plan. We are working on a bike and pedestrian plan for Bayfield County right now. The purpose of that plan is to basically look at the opportunities for cycling and pedestrian activities and look for ways to improve safety, mobility, connectivity between the communities within that county. The last meeting I had on the 25th of June in Washburn, actually had residents coming up from northern Sawyer County. because they were interested in understanding what was happening with the bike and ped planning process. They are also interested in doing something similar in Sawyer County and trying to see how we would get that ball rolling. So there's a potential that if there's interest, we could get a process like that going. We could even assist in securing the funding to get that process going. For this county, I think that would be very beneficial. Obviously, cycling is a big component of the recreation opportunity spectrum within this county, particularly in that Cable area south, and there may be some significant opportunities there. But I just wanted to highlight that as a project that I think could have potential implications in the future here. Okay? Any questions on the planning side before I bring Megan up to talk about water resources? Yeah, Jim?
On that bike plan, is that primarily for recreation? It doesn't seem like there's a lot in terms of transportation. We're different than,
Yep.
say, Dane County, Madison. They
Yep.
use cycling for transportation.
Yep.
We primarily use it for recreation.
Right, and there is a distinction made in the legislation, but it permits the community to look at recreation as well as connectivity. So, you know, the way we're approaching in Bayfield County is we can't make a distinction between the two because it's so much an integral part of the community economy. And realistically, if you're connecting Iron River with Washburn, how many people are actually going to make that connection anyway? So the focus really is heavy in recreation. So I think it would dovetail nicely with the current situation here in the county. Okay. All right, I'll bring up Megan Sorensen to talk about water resources. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Megan Sorensen. I was hired to kind of take on the water resources portion of the Planning Commission about 4 or 5 years ago now. Across our 10-county region, I work with about 12, 13 different lake associations, lake districts, watershed groups, helping them with aquatic plant management planning, comprehensive planning, surveys, strategic planning. In Sawyer County, I work with 5 different lake groups: the Tiger Cat Flowage, the Quiet Lakes, Callahan and Mud Lake District, the Chippewa Flowage Area Property Owners Association, and the Winter Lakes Alliance. So that covers about 15 different lakes in the county. And currently, right now, through the grants that we're leveraging through the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources Surface Water Grant Program, we've been able to obtain over $215,000 for those lake groups to do those management plans, which sets them up for at least 5 years of aquatic plant management planning with the DNR. Current projects in process, the big ones are Tiger Cat Flowage, the Chippewa Flowage, that's collaboration with LCO and the Property Owners Association, and the Barber Lake and Loretta Lake Aquatic Plant Management Plans, which we're collaborating with Sawyer County Conservation Department on those plans. So, any questions?
All right, I would love to have had them to stand here for 15 more minutes and finish my presentation, but I'm going to make it short here. So on the next slide, please. So one of our key factors as well, Jason mentioned, planning is our bread and butter. It's really the primary thing that we were created statutorily for back in 1959. I kind of forgot about that, but our organization has been around since 1959. We were the first regional planning commission in the state to be designated as a regional planning commission, and the 8 followed there in the next 10 years or so. So on the economic development side, we have a lot of activity, a lot of loan programs that we administer in the region. So I want to kind of cover some of them. There's many to cover, but I'm just going to highlight a few. So these are all organizations that are associated, affiliated with the Regional Planning Commission. We don't own them, but we created them all. So many of you understand the fact that you might not be eligible for receiving funds as an organization, so you create a different 501c3 or you'd create a different organization. All of those that you see here are outside of the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, but we serve on their board of directors. Many of them I'm serving as president of, as well as the director of the Planning Commission. So they're integrated, and we do all the work for these organizations. They have a board of directors, but no staff, and we contract for services with them. Again, mostly it's required to do so because of the grant programs that they're applying for. So Northwest Wisconsin Business Development Corporation, created back about 1986. They were the first recipient of an Economic Development Administration Grant Award that was written for the region and is still active today with funding programs. The Wisconsin Business Innovation Corporation was created in the 90s. I've been around since 94 at our organization, so I've been through all of these organizations and I know them as well. But they are a not-for-profit organization that really focuses on business development, manufacturing specifically. They also have a revolving loan fund. Visions Northwest was created in 2012 through the Department of Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. We're a regional economic development organization. We're a key strategic partner of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. John Ringheimer sits on the board of directors for the Visions Northwest board as well. Crystal Rohde and our staff would be here today to present more on that side of the program funding, but she's on vacation this week, so she was not able to make it. Our Small Business Administration, SBA microloans, we have funds available from $5,000 to $50,000 to provide direct technical assistance to businesses, assisting them in looking at their programming and their function of the organization that they are trying to run, provide assistance and technical assistance primarily in that. So it's a revolving loan fund that we receive from the Small Business Administration out of DC. The Wisconsin Rural Enterprise Fund was created back in the 90s. It's a venture fund. All of their funding was spent in the early 2000s, and we're waiting on some of those programs and some of those businesses to get to that next level still. The Northwest Regional Economic Development Fund, that's what I want to spend a little more time on because you have money in that program. So the new RED program, as we call it, back in 2004, 2006, counties and units of governments had community development block grant economic development funds that were provided to units of governments to assist in a business development expansion or opportunities for the business to grow. Some point in time, then Department of Commerce said, hey, we want to pull that money back to the state. Our organization and two others in the state were given the opportunity to pilot a project where units of governments in our 10-county region could provide and take that economic development funds and put it in a loan program that we administer. You've done that, you did that, as did a number of other communities and counties. We still revolve those funds out as part of that, and there's a revolving loan fund committee that manages those funds and monitors those funds for the program. And the last one is our Enterprise Center Network. I know there's a grant that was provided to the Sawyer County EDC for an incubator. We've been in conversations, with the previous director and now Brian Priester on how our Enterprise Center works. We're not an incubator, but we're an Enterprise Center Network. If you'll go to the next slide. So that Enterprise Center Network for us, yep, thank you very much. So back in 1996, the Executive Committee of the Planning Commission put their foot forward to say that it's important for us as a region to grow economically. And as such, we built 180,000 square feet of manufacturing space in the region. So the 5 communities that you see there all have buildings that the Planning Commission owns. They're leased to manufacturers, and many of those manufacturing companies are still there. We've been criticized, and I'll say it, we've been criticized for why haven't we kicked them out? If we were to do that, over half of them for sure, if not all of them, would fall flat and they wouldn't be able to afford a building. I mean, you all know how expensive it is to just build a house. Consider building a 20,000 square foot manufacturing space on a shoestring. So we have 2 buildings in Grantsburg totaling 32,000 square feet. We've got 1 in Phillips, 1 in Iron River. We have 4 manufacturing facilities in Spooner on our property, and we have 1 in Siren. So about 160,000 square feet. We had one in Medford. That was our very first project. We had a developer that wanted to purchase that from us, and we sold that to them about 4 years ago. So this is a key cornerstone for us. We've had many conversations with economic development folks here in Sawyer County to look at the potential to locate one here. Unfortunately, many of the dollars that helped contribute to these programs are targeted to poverty, low income, and Hayward just has never really hit that, not just Hayward, Sawyer County hasn't hit that benchmark for eligibility for many of the programs that we've applied for from the feds. If you go back a slide. If Crystal was here, she would want me to talk about, or she would talk about the comprehensive economic development strategy. Northwest Regional Planning Commission is an economic development district designated by the U.S. Department of Commerce back in 1975. So we're an organization that's been an economic development district for a long time. We do receive federal funds from EDA, or U.S. Department of Commerce, and it really does provide technical assistance through our office to businesses, economic development directors, and the like. And having a comprehensive economic development strategy enables communities throughout the region to apply for EDA funding, Economic Development Administrative funding for business development and other programs. And it's also a bonus if you're applying for other federal and state funding to identify some of these key components. I'm not going to go through what the goals are. You can find this document online at our website. And I would really encourage you to go and look at that document for sure. All right. So housing, I'm just about wrapped up here. So on our housing side, we have a couple of staff that work on that program. We created another organization called Northwest Affordable Housing. We did that purposefully back in 1998 in order to create or have funds in the region to be able to provide down payment assistance through our Hickory Fund, and then also for our Housing Rehabilitation Fund. We get about $200,000 total every 2 years in that program. And the Hickory down payment side, unfortunately, is very underfunded. We only get about $40,000 to $50,000 every 2 years total. So it doesn't go a long ways, but we usually try to provide about $8,000 down payments where we can to homeowners. And these are all homeowners that are eligible based on income for that. And I think in your packet, there's a housing flyer that will contain more information and the income limits for that program as well. Lastly, I want to talk about the Regional Housing Fund. Oh, yeah, it's there too as well. So on the Regional Housing Fund, you can leave it there. Thank you very much, Liz. You all had, Sawyer County and many, many other communities across the state up to about April of this calendar year, you had a community development block grant revolving loan fund that was here in-house for Sawyer County. We administered that on your behalf. In 2005, the Department of Administration, DECR, Division of Energy, Housing, and Community Resources, identified that there was $22 million statewide that was available in revolving loan funds that wasn't being utilized. It wasn't being turned over fast enough. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which manages the Community Development Block Grant Program nationally, I think the state felt that it was possible they might ask for that money back. So instead of that, my belief is that they asked for the money back to create a new housing program. I know I've mentioned it to the Economic Development Committee that sometime in 2027 is believed, I believe, they're going to be coming out with a program that communities and developers can partner to create, not to create new housing, because CDBG rules don't allow that. You can't build new housing, but you can retrofit commercial space. There's a vacant building somewhere or an old school. You could use those funds in partnership with a developer to redevelop that into affordable housing. All of it doesn't have to be affordable. It could be a mix, but at least 51% likely would have to be targeted to low to moderate income households and have certain rent limits on that. The remaining portion could be at market rate. So you turned your money back in April, and now you have access, your residents have access to the regional fund. Back in 2012, the Planning Commission helped prepare an application to the state of Wisconsin on behalf of Douglas County as the applicant that allows the region to receive anywhere between $1 and $3 million every 2 years. This current cycle that started July 1st, there's $3 million available in the 10-county region for the next 24 months to be targeted to all of the 10 counties that we serve and the households that meet the income requirements that are on the screen and or in the packet that you have as well. So it's an advantage that certain households have. We don't do remodeling. It's not the plan for these funds, but it's deferred maintenance. Septic systems that all of a sudden go out and the homeowners can't really afford to make the repairs. A well that goes bad. It's got leaking shingles or roofs. So it's really more of a deferred maintenance repair program, if you want to call it that. You can see on the screen, there's about 2.1 million in revolving loan funds that are currently out there in Sawyer County that we have internal to our organization that we administer. So you still have, is it 873? About $874,000 of revolving loan funds that are still on the books for that original revolving loan fund that you had received back in the 90s and the early 2000s. So we're still managing those. All of the funds that you see on the screen there for Sawyer County are very comparable to the other counties that we serve. And all of those funds are 0% deferred payment loans. So people aren't making a payment that receive these dollars. They're deferred. So we have many people who make monthly payments because they have to pay it off sooner or later. But right now it's a deferred payment that whenever they sell their house, the money is paid back to the unit of government. So that's a little bit about that program. The next one is our environmental program. So we provide recycling services for Douglas County, Burnett County, Washburn County. They're responsible units. If you're a town representative and you've got a recycling facility in your town that you bring your recycling to, very likely that town is a responsible unit. Back in the 90s when they created this statute at the state level, those 3 counties said we're going to be the responsible unit. So we administer those programs for them. We deal with all the recycling program. The other thing that we created as a regional planning commission that covers all or 9 of our 10 counties is our household hazardous waste program. That program is operated in 9 of our 10 counties. Then we also have a VSQG, a very small quantity generator milk run, where we go to businesses that are classified as very small, and we can take their chemicals, used oils, used fluids, things that they would collect. So just want to hit quickly on the next slide, and that's the household hazardous waste event. So we manage the grant program, apply for the grant every year, and then we utilize many of the local resources that are here in every county. Here in Sawyer County, Gregoria is our contact. She's the one who coordinates this at the local level. We provide the back-end services for much of the work, but on September 23rd at the Sawyer County Fairgrounds is when the next event's going to be held here in Sawyer County. I think last year, if I remember right, there were about a couple hundred vehicles that entered the facility. We're responsible for the household hazardous waste side of it. We contract with an environmental firm to bring in staff and trucks that are trained in how to pack and take that materials. But I know that the Sawyer County folks also have a sharps and medication collection as well. And from time to time, they have an electronics collection too as part of that program. And then lastly, and I'm done, is our fiscal side. We administer lots of grants, as you can imagine. So there's a lot of paperwork and things that we have to prepare quarterly, semi-annually, and monthly for that program. So our fiscal staff does a great job. I can tell you, for being around the organization for the last 32 years, we've had a great staff. I've been the director for the last 11. We all do everything. Everything. Everybody says, where can I help out? What can I do? We all have our niche. We have the more expertise, if you will, in certain areas, but our staff is great at helping out and providing whatever services we can. So I want to say thanks on behalf of the staff, and thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for him?
I have one question, Mr. Chairman. Sheldon, I noticed, of course, I haven't checked in a while, but I was wondering why Sawyer County's income limit is so high other than the surrounding counties. Sawyer County's income is way up and the rest of the counties are way down. So I guess I just don't understand where that comes from. I would like to understand it.
Yeah, I mean, are you talking like annual?
Yeah, like, for, your housing grants or whatever, your remodeling, grants, you go in there and you look up whatever, and Sawyer County's income is way up compared to the surrounding counties, or which are lower.
Back to that housing slide. Yeah, the US Census Bureau, they do, if you've been lucky enough to get the ACS, the American Community Survey, I just got mine a couple months ago to fill out. They ask a lot of data, and that's what they're basing all their census data now, except for the decennial. So every year, they're updating that five-year census information. So as it relates to the income levels, it doesn't show it here, but the income levels as it relates to the household, if that's what you're targeting,
Yes,
they're the same. All of the 10 counties, Sawyer County is the same income requirement as the other 8 counties. Douglas County is a little higher because they're a metropolitan statistical area. They have a little higher threshold of income, so fewer people would meet that requirement. But the income that's listed here for a one person at $53,800, that's the same for the other 8 counties except for Douglas. So it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same for that.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Sheldon, how can we help get this information in front of people? I don't think that the people that I talk to that want to start businesses, they don't know where to go. So how can we help you get this in front of more people?
I would ask you to, if you're all speaking with businesses or folks that are looking for financial assistance, to call our office and ask for Joy. Joy Melton is one of our business development specialists, and Cole Rapska. Those two are the two folks in our office that are dealing with manufacturing, retail as well, not just manufacturing, retail as well. Have them call them or call me, and I can redirect them to them as well. I didn't cover it, but in your packet, and for lack of time, you can see in the packet the different loan programs that are available and some of the funds that have already been allocated to Sawyer County at the moment. But I guess, Stacy, it's if you know somebody in the county that is looking for financial assistance to expand, we provide funds for going out and buying equipment, supplies. If they are needing to purchase butter, not just sticks of butter, but large quantities of butter, we can provide assistance there. Our SBA microloan program is a great opportunity. Like I said before, it provides them free business technical assistance from our 2 staff, Cole and Joy, for that purpose, and it's free to them. Even with a $5,000 loan, they get the same amount of TA as somebody who would take out a $50,000 loan for that. That would be my response. And if you want more information, this handout here, I can get you as many as you need. I could certainly do that. Maybe the next time I'm uptown, I'll just bring some, either drop it off at Mike's office or at the next ED meeting that I'm attending.
Sheldon, you said on the 23rd that you're going to be at Sawyer County Fairgrounds for hazardous waste. Are they taking TVs at that time? Do you know?
I don't know. I haven't asked Ariga yet in September when if they're taking them. I'll have to ask and get back to you, Ron.
Thank you.
Is it out there? Okay. Under extensions or? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheldon and staff.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate you giving us a half an hour. Again, thank you.
Next item is zoning committee report. Mr. Chairman Buckles.
Thank you, Mr. Kinsey. The zoning committee will hold its monthly public hearing tomorrow at 8:30. There is a full agenda tomorrow, including requests for 2 rezones, 4 conditional use permits, 1 moratorium ordinance, proposal for the data center. The zoning department remains extremely busy. As of today, the department, well, I just lost it. Sorry. Come on. There it is. Sorry. The zoning department remains extremely busy. As of today, the department has issued 401 land use permits, an increase of 95 permits compared to the same time last year. And if there's no other questions, I will be going over the rezones cases for Jay tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Letter B, or A, you did A, so it's B. Thank you.
Okay, rezone number 26-008 is a request to rezone 6.37 acres of agricultural 1 to residential recreational 1. The request is to allow additional splits with a RR1 zone district and build additional residential houses. The town of Hayward and the Sawyer County Zoning Committee recommends approval for this rezone. Additional information is included in the zoning administrator's staff reports. So would they need a motion to approve?
I'll
that?
make a motion to approve the rezone number 26-008.
Motion by Mr. Evans, second by Mr. Carrie Ann to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Letter C.
Okay, the next one is rezone 26-009 is a request to rezone 4 separate lots. Each is 1.53 acres for a total of 6.12 acres of a residential recreational 1 to commercial 1. This request is to allow for other permitted commercial uses on these lots. The town of Hayward and the Sawyer County Zoning Committee recommends approval. Additional information is included at the zoning administrator's office.
Mr. Longtime,
I so move
to approve.
to approve, I'm sorry, I so move to approve.
Second.
Mr.
Motion
Chairman,
by Ms.
before you say that, these are out of order on this agenda. Can you please tell me which one your motion to approve is?
This is Rosalind Sheptick.
Yeah, I don't have the names right on my list here other than,
Is 26010 is
should've
what it
said
is
that.
on our list.
I'm sorry, I should have said 26-010, yes,
Okay,
okay.
thank you. I just want to make sure.
sorry about
So we
that.
have a motion by Mr. Longtime, second by Mr. Evans. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Letter D.
Okay, the next one here is a rezone of 26-011 is a request to rezone 0.57 acres of residential 1 to commercial 1. This request is to then allow for existing accessory structures on the property to remain as a commercial storage building, part of an order for correction process. The town of Hayward has denied the rezone application and has also submitted a resolution of disapproval in conjunction with the proposed rezone. With this additional information, Sawyer County Zoning Committee also recommends denial. With the resolution of disapproval, the county board should also deny this proposed rezone application. Additional information is included in the zoning administrator staff report.
Ms. Cecil.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to deny rezone 26-011.
So motion by Ms. Cecil, second by Ms. Wilson to deny. Do you have the right one, Ms.? Okay.
Sorry about that, Liz. I was just going off what Jay had here. It's a little different than what's on here, but
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
that ends my report. Mr.
Thank you. Number 11, Public Works Committee. Mr. Newman, please.
Sawyer County Airport, Mr. Leslie reported that traffic is picking up. July is usually their biggest time of the year. They will be having the Civil Air Patrol pancake breakfast on Sunday, July 12th from 7 to 1 p.m. They also are doing the Young Eagles flights for kids from ages 7 to 17 on August 8th. Highway Department, Mr. Pino reported that they're busy doing a lot of work around the county and continuing with other projects. We're talking discussions about looking at the highway facilities and long-term replacements for some of the buildings that haven't been addressed over the years. And the ad hoc committee met and they're in discussion about the WOJB tower and what they need to do for upgrades on that to help for the communication system. Other than that, that is all I have.
Thank you. Number 12, Public Safety Committee, Mr. Buckles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Public Safety Committee met on July 2nd. Clerk of Courts, Register, and Probate reports. Mrs. Kelsey presented a written report and updated on the committees on short staffing challenges and thanked Christy Care for stepping in as Clerk of Civil Cases. A new criminal clerk is starting July 27th. Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Morotek stated that the receptionist / sheriff secretary position has been filled and the department is supporting LCO with recent homicide investigations that occurred. Patrol report, Lieutenant Rapinski reviewed that the written patrol report. There was 714 calls in June, 28 traffic citations issued and 15 crashes, 2 with injury and 0 deaths. A jail report was given by Chief Dale, reviewed a written jail report from June and with arrest data by race and gender. There was an average of 59 inmates incarcerated with a 68% of unemployment rate at the time of bookings, 1 on electronic monitoring. Dispatch and Emergency Management, Director Rapinski reviewed a written report with updates on staffing, grant-funded upgrades to dispatch and jail councils, and upcoming events for the numbers of types of calls received. Also, Emergency Management Director Rapinski reviewed a written report with updates on testing a new weather and fire detection programs, and the department will assist with the cops and bobbers on August 8th at DJ's Dockside Resort and co-host a national night out on August 4th from 5 to 7 p.m. behind the intermediate school. Radio tower update, Mr. Markern updated that the committee on productive meetings with the tribal governing board on the WJB tower, the Meadowbrook tower costs came down since the June public safety meeting. The increase is the cost is connecting the electricity to the site, which is going to be approximately $40,000. I stated that the Meadowbrook project was approved at the zoning committee. The code enforcement, Miss Olson reviewed her rewritten report on dog license and a dog bite quarantine in the pound. There was 3 TRH complaints investigated in June and 1 potential human hazard with 2 ongoing investigations in May. There was a child support report. Emergency services, Mr. Fremel introduced his assistant, Miranda Strinke. A written report was provided showing ambulance call volumes, location and run times. Mr. Fremel shared that LCO will offer an advanced EMT course this fall and stated that the Sawyer County crew has been working well with Birchwood. The Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, Mr. Mark Renner reported that in June, CJCC meeting highlights, Lee, Carol, I don't know if I said that right, Mike, but it's close enough. Northwoods Tech works with inmates 10 hours a week on diplomas, access to tech school training for grant-funded program that has reduced racism by 47% statewide. Judge Isham and Smith have seen good results from youth justice efforts. And Dave Dixon, the Timber Bay Resort, provides weekly youth programs that are well attended. And that Ends my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Number 13, Land, Water, and Forestry. Mr. Carrion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Land, Water, and Forestry Committee met on July 8th. We heard or received reports from the Register of Deeds Office, Land Records, and County Surveyor Department. Forestry Department was presented by Mr. Peterson, who noted that 9 sales were active in the month of June, and that there's almost, or just short of $5 million worth of sold and uncut timber on file at the time of that report. The county is now just out of the oak wilt restriction season, which ran through yesterday. And bids were received and reviewed for 3 ATV, UTV trail rehab projects. And it was noted the cost and shortage of gravel is affecting project costs. The DNR report, Mr. Fisher reported on June DNR activities and reminded people not to prune or cause injury to any oak trees until after July 15th to prevent oak wilt. And we are to contact Mr. Fisher if we have any oak wilt symptoms to report. Invasive species are present in some parts of the forest, and Mr. Fisher noted that native black locust is becoming prevalent in some areas. A recreational trails report, Ms. Schroeder reported that grading is complete on the Tuscobie and Moose Lake trails, and the Sealy Hills trails are next. Zoning and Conservation Department, Mr. Kozlowski reported that conservation staff have assisted individuals with site visits for native plant restoration projects and are busy with permits, project designs, and meetings with lake associations. Water samples were taken from Loretta and Barber Lakes for a grant project. Conservation provided public education on aquatic species and is planning a Land, Water, and Forest Resource Committee guided tour and is working with DNR on livestock sighting and concentrated animal feeding operations. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Number 14, Economic Development, UW Extension. Mr. Righeimer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met on July 6th. We discussed and passed a resolution on the Weiss and Winter Library support. Mr. Markham will explain that. That's a resolution on the agenda in the next section under B. The motion was approved without negative vote. For the library, Ms. Larson reported for the Sherman and Ruth Weiss Library. She spoke regarding the current library programs and activities, as well as the 2 grants received. 3 new study pods are being installed that day, back on July 6th. For the Winter Library, Ms. Nucky was absent due to a 4-H camp, but she provided a written report. Hayward Lakes Visitors Convention Bureau, Ms. Simon spoke regarding the tourism impact, showing a record-breaking year of $155 million in economic impact and an estimated Wisconsin, Wisconsin ranks 21st or 22nd in tourism out of all the states. For the Sawyer County Economic Development Corporation report, Mr. Priester reported on training and meetings with local business owners. He was rebuilding the EDC website, which will launch in the near future. He discussed the selection process for the Federal Census Tract Opportunity Zone, which has a July 31st application deadline. The City of Hayward is the entity who would submit the application. For the trail reports, motorized, Ms. Hessel stated the trails are amazing and fun. Get that one down. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Letter B, Resolution 2026 Westland Winter Library. Mr. Markman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This went through both finance and economic development, so many of you have heard this, but since I've been here, we've seen pretty lively, sometimes contentious discussions when it came to supporting the Weiss and Winter Libraries when it came to the budget time. So I kind of wanted to take that emotion out of it. So what I am proposing is a resolution that
would limit or actually set the funding formula calculations for those two libraries. The two components would be 150% of the previous year's circulation formula amount, or 102% of the previous year contribution from the county. And I met with 4 representatives, including Ann Larson from Hayward Library and also Donna from Winter Library, and they both are supportive and appreciative of the efforts here. It would give them an amount they can count on. They know what their funding is going to be, instead of how it's been in the past, where they might propose something here, I'll recommend a budget here, and then we decide somewhere in between. This would be something everybody knows going in and is comfortable with my discussions with them. For instance, for 2027, for the Weiss Library, their circulation is just over 200,000. 70% of that, which is a state formula, would be just over 140,000. So that part of the formula would be 210,000. Their support from the county last year was 245, 102.5% of that would be just over 251,000. The greater of the two would be the 251,000. So that is the proposal. And again, it's gone through both economic development and finance. Any questions on that?
I've got a question or comment, I guess. When I first saw the proposal for that, I said, this is great. It makes a whole lot of sense, because I was just looking at the last few years and, it seemed to fit well in that period of time. But then late this morning, I started asking the question, what if we had done this some time ago? What if we had done it 8 years ago, for instance? We had quite and it was partly COVID, but back in 2021, the formula from 2021 to 2022 would have caused like about an 18% spike that year. So I see where if we had hopefully it never happens in our lifetimes again, but if it were to happen, it would definitely take the smooth 2.5% that we kind of envision this mostly working with. You'd jump maybe $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in funding 1 year, and then kind of continue with the 2.5%. So I then asked myself, what if in that back in 2018, where we were providing $200,000 a year to the library, what if we had done 2.5% per year? And when you do that math, we would be doing $240,190 to the library versus $251,125 next year. So it would actually be a little lower, but the aggregate of what we pay, because each year we were at 200,000 steady, we'd have been ramping up. It would have been very close to, the total for the 8 or 9 year period would have been very close to the total for that steady, adjustment. So I guess I'm just asking myself, are we comfortable enough with thinking that we won't have a disruption like COVID caused going forward?
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about is that for 2 years, I don't think they were open with very limited hours. Their circulation was way down, and then the year after it went up significantly.
Yeah, well, I just wanted folks to be aware that,
Yep.
that it's a potential at least.
Ms. Hessel.
Make a motion to approve the Weiss and Winter Library Support Resolution.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Hessel, second by Mr. Longtime to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 15, Finance Committee, Mr. Rickhammer.
I'm back to back again.
I noticed that.
Thanks, Les. We met on July 9th. Treasurer's report, Mr. Lehner provided a written report on tax collections and delinquent parcels and reported on topics covered at the Wisconsin County Treasurers Association conference that he attended. For the Finance Department report, Ms. N. reviewed monthly sales tax revenues, budget performance reports for the June 26 and June CIP purchases. 27, budget update. Department heads have turned in staff and CIP requests, and Finance is meeting with departments to review budget numbers as they come in. For the department financial updates, we looked at the ambulance department, reviewed the 26 financials for the ambulance department. Medical examiner department reviewed the 26 financials for them, and the emergency management department. General government, Ms. N reviewed June 26 financials for the general government. Investment review and updates. The main investment report was provided. Interest rates are holding above 3%. County CD investments are still exceeding 25 returns. And then we also went over the Weiss Winter Library, and that was passed unanimously. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Number 16, Health and Human Services Report, Ms. Wilson.
Good evening. We tried to have a meeting on July 2nd, but we did not meet a quorum because 4 of our members were absent. 1 was excused. So I called the meeting to order at 5:05, and I think it was 5:06 we adjourned. Thank you. Everybody needs to attend their appointed committees, please.
Now, that meeting was changed, also the time and the date was changed to Thursday, the first Thursday of the month.
I think that was our second time.
Just trying to remind people. Thank you. Number 17, Administrative Committee Report. Administrative Committee met last Thursday. We get a report from Ms. Klein, County Clerk. We get a report from Veterans Office. We talked briefly about the Veteran Tribute. And we have Information Technology, Health, Human Resource Report, and then we can receive the County Administrator Report. The biggest thing we received is Mr. Markren has turned in his resignation to be resigned at the end of December of this year.
Retirement,
For retirement.
just to be clear.
And I'm sure in his report, he will update us on that. Next item, letter B, County Administrator Report. Mr. Markren.
Thank you. A couple things to update you on. I've been working with Brian Priester, who is the new Executive Director of the Sawyer County Economic Development Corporation. We're working on an Opportunity Zone renewal. It expires this year. It is a federal program that encourages investment in low-income and rural communities, which we qualify for. We have a few tracts that qualify, the city of Hayward, parts of the town, and then there are parts of, I believe, Radisson, Ojibwe, and Coudray that qualify as well. There are also 2 tracts within LCO. LCO is doing their own submittal. Brian and I met Monday and kind of went through some stuff. We're going to meet again next week to formally submit it. What this Opportunity Zone is for is it encourages investment into target areas through federal tax incentives. It was created in the Tax Cuts and Job Acts of 2017. It was made permanent in the One Big Beautiful Bill a year ago, so it is ongoing now. What it is it provides incentives for capital gains tax. If you hold something for 5 years, it's deferred. If you hold it for 10 years, it actually will be, the tax will be eliminated, tax exempt. So it really is great for encouraging business investment and growth that way. There is no minimum investment, which is nice. The one change from 10 years ago to now is the governor can nominate 25% of eligible tracts for this program. 10 years ago it was 75%, so there's quite a reduction that way. But we feel we have a pretty good case to continue with our award there. This particular 10-year framework emphasizes rural and deeply distressed communities. It's more targeted on income eligibility thresholds. There's increased accountability, reporting, and transparency. And there's a stronger alignment between investment activity and local economic outcomes, including job creation and business growth. So all those things will be great for our area. I don't have data on how much has been used over the past 10 years within Sawyer County, but we're looking forward to doing that. Next Monday, not this coming Monday, but a week from Monday, I'll be speaking at the Towns Association in Coudray. Looking forward to that. As far as the Public Safety Radio Network, the work is underway on Meadowbrook. That was just approved at the last board meeting. And GenCom had been hopefully assuming that it was going to pass because it had, or I guess it was zoning. It was the previous month it went through the county board. Zoning, then it passed last month too, so that we can move forward with that. They did the background work assuming it would go so that we're not held up that way because it's about a 2-month process to get going. Everything else is going well with that. The TGB is still working towards either upgrading or even replacing the WOJB tower. We do have a backup plan until that happens to get our connectivity that we need. And one more thing on CJCC, Justice Point has applied for a $740,000 rural communities opioid response grant to fund our deflection program. The funding that we had for deflection has run out at this federal level. It was not renewed. Federally, it wasn't renewed. So they've been working on kind of a shoestring budget through donations and other small grants they've been able to get. So this would help that program greatly. And I've mentioned at a couple meetings, we've really seen good results from deflection as far as repeat offenders. So it's been a very nice program. And that ends my report.
Thank you.
Oh, unless you want me to speak more, but I don't know. Y'all got the email I sent out and it's been in the paper, but yeah, after a few months of careful consideration, something my wife has really been encouraging for quite some time, I'm going to retire at the end of the year. So that's all. I don't like attention, so that's all I've got to say about that. I refuse to play pickleball. I'll golf. I'll work out. I'm not going to play pickleball. Sorry.
Yes.
So what is the movement forward? Do we discuss that at admin next month?
I'm going to hit that in just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Board appointment committee updates. Steve, you got anything? Oh, okay. All right. Correspondence reports, conferences, yes. With the administrator retiring at the end of the year, we'll have it on the agenda for administrative committee in August. I've been communicating with our HHR a little bit, and we've kind of tentatively set up a plan to move forward with. So we'll be dealing with that. Liz, what did we have from Lynn Fitch, please?
I don't have it. You just said you were going to read that governor's proclamation, but Mike had emailed that to all of us. I don't know how you want to handle that, or if you just want to wait and do it in August.
Go ahead.
I'll just say something. Lynn Fitch had requested that the county do a proclamation in support of ALS. ALS month was actually in May, so we were going to just read the governor's proclamation. We did not get it on the agenda, so that's what that was regarding.
Thank you. And evaluations, did the board members want to turn in evaluation for Mr. Markman? Many of you have. The rest of you may, if you do it real soon. Thank you. Number 20, future agenda items. Anybody have anything that they want to bring forward? Certainly contact the administrator, clerk, or I. We'll try to get it on agendas. Thank you for your valuable time. Be careful of the smoke out there. If you have something else.
I got one quick thing. I just want to remind that the zoning committee meeting tomorrow morning is a full agenda, so we're going to be there a while. So pack a lunch.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
He's not kidding.
Unless Mike wants to bring us in for lunch.